Capsule.
All right, last time we saw him, young Baron Von was busy building a paradise. Well, welcome back for Volume 3, but let me tell you, the piece is over, and Von is about to escalate things dramatically. Let's dive right in.
You can feel the shift in tone right away, can't you? It's immediate. It's intense. Von's easygoing life gets totally interrupted by the drums of war, and his production magic, the stuff he used for building houses and roads, that's about to be aimed at a much, much deadlier purpose. So when the kingdom of Yeleneta invades, all the other nobles are expecting Van to grab a sword and get on the front lines. But Van, he's got a different idea. He figures the best way to help isn't with his own sword, but with that incredible mind and his completely unique magic. He's going to fight this war on his own terms. See, Van doesn't just show up to fight. He shows up to completely change the battlefield. He hands his allies, like the super-tough Viscount Panamera, a whole new arsenal of superweapons. We're talking mobile ballistae that can be set up anywhere, insanely powerful catapults, and even a machine bow squad that just rains arrows down on the enemy.
And this right here just perfectly shows the impact. So at the fortress city of Skudet, the enemy pulls out their trump cards, terrifying wyverns and a giant earth dragon. It should have been an absolute slaughter. But armed with Van's inventions, Viscount Panamera's forces don't just win, they dominate. It's a total rout.
So after the battle, Van's forces managed to capture the enemy commander, who's trying to flee, Prince Freightliner. And through some, let's call it persuasive interrogation, Van learns a critical piece of intel. The enemy's secret weapon isn't just their monsters. It's these things called black balls, an explosive that basically gives any regular soldier the power of a fire mage. And that changes everything.
Now, what's really fascinating is how this new intel just transforms the whole conflict. It turns out Yeleneta's invasion was multi-pronged, and they're also targeting the territory of Count Ferdinando, who happens to be the estranged father of Van's fiancée, Art. All of a sudden for her, this isn't about strategy anymore. It's about saving her family.
And wow, does Arte step up, heroically. She flat out refuses to let Van fight her battle for her. Instead, she takes control of his super powerful silver puppets and leads a squad of adventurers to defend her home. She single-handedly turns the tide, saves her city, and gets this tearful, long overdue reconciliation with her father. It's just a huge moment of growth for her character.
Okay, so with the immediate military threat kinda handled, a whole new kind of challenge pops up on the horizon. Scioto Village's crazy growth and all its trade and rare monster parts hasn't gone unnoticed. It's attracted the attention of the Global Business Guild, and trust me, they are not coming for a friendly visit.
So this auditor named Apollo arrives, and he is absolutely convinced he's going to find massive fraud in Van's company. He sees the crazy profits, the meteoric rise, and just assumes there has to be a crime, right? The entire future of Salo Village is hanging in the balance here.
But instead of finding cooked books, the investigators find a series of, reality-shattering truths. They see the dragon-slaying ballistae with their own eyes. They witness a fortified city that's completely self-sufficient. They watch in stunned silence as Van, a 10-year-old kid, casually forges a sword from the legendary metal orichalcum. And then they learn he has an alliance with the mythical Apkalu. It's just one impossible thing after another.
The audit gets scrapped right there on the spot. The investigators realize Van isn't a criminal, he's a gold mine. They don't want to shut him down, they want to partner with him, offering him international trade routes and their full backing. And just like that, Van escalates from a local lord to an international economic powerhouse. But, of course, Van's success creates its own set of problems. The village is now this major hub for adventurers, but they all need gear made and repaired. The demand for master blacksmiths becomes a desperate crisis. So, naturally, Van sets out to solve it in the most Van way possible.
He finds a group of dwarves led by a master smith named Havel. But Van doesn't negotiate, he demonstrates. First, he takes Havel's most prized sword and just cuts it clean in half with his own. Then, he uses his production magic to reforge it perfectly, in seconds. As if that wasn't enough, he offers a basically infinite supply of orichalcum and promises to build Havel a custom, state-of-the-art superforge.
For Havel and his dwarven buddies, this is it. It's the dream. A place with unlimited resources, incredible technology they've never even imagined, and endless work. They don't just agree to work for Van, they decide to move in permanently. And boom, Scioto Village now has a world-class smithy.
All of these escalations, military, economic, industrial, they've put Van squarely on the king's radar.
And with the war against Yelenetta far from over, the king has a new, absolutely massive task for our young baron.
50,000. That's the number of soldiers the kingdom is gathering for a full-scale counter-invasion. An army that big needs a place to gather, to prepare, to launch from. And the king decides that place will be Van's territory.
And just like that, Van's once-forgotten little village becomes the most critical military installation in the entire country. This is the culmination of everything he's built. His quiet paradise is now the logistical heart of a giant war machine.
So faced with housing and supplying 50,000 soldiers on incredibly short notice, Van unleashes his production magic on a scale we have never seen before. He creates huge lodgings and bathhouses practically overnight. He invents these magical foldable containers to act as mobile bases for the army's march. And to top it all off, he throws a barbecue for the entire army with high-grade monster meat just to boost morale. He leaves the king and the entire nobility completely speechless.
I mean, think about that for a second. In the course of just one volume, Van has escalated from a quiet, exiled lord building a small village into the single most important person in the kingdom's entire war effort. His power and his influence have grown exponentially. So he's proven he can supply an army, win battles from the sidelines, and literally create wealth out of nothing. But when one person holds that much power, they always make enemies. The real question for next time is, with everyone now relying on him, who out there sees Van not as an asset, but as a threat? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Plot Capsule.